Jibbies, we're watching 28 Years Later.
If you'd like to recline...
Hello, YouTube. It's your boys, ladies and gentlemen. Click that subscribe button over there, boys. We got one subscriber today. Thank you for whoever subscribed. Today, we're going to review 28 Years Later, directed by the one and only, you say it, Mitch.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle. The cast.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle.
As in boiling Danny.
Jodie Comer as Isla. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Jamie. Alfie Williams as Spike. Ralph Fiennes as Dr. Kelson. Jack O'Connell as Sir Jimmy Knistel. Aaron Kellyman as Jimmy Inc. This is the non-spoiler section of the review. When I came out of the movie, I was initially probably one of the most torn I've ever been between really liking it and thinking it wasn't good. And thinking about it longer, and talking to these two idiots about it after the movie, I've come to the conclusion that I didn't really like the movie that much. Like, you had some good parts of the movie. Like, the acting was really good. The story, some of the elements of the story was really good. The zombies were cool. They added a few new kind of elements to the movie that you haven't seen from the previous two films. I liked that, but mostly negative. There's a lot of things that I didn't like about it, and perhaps I'll talk a bit more about it. But my opinion, it wasn't. It was okay, but I wasn't a big fan. What did you reckon, Jared?
Basically the same. Very torn. I did, however, like it. I think that there was never a point where I was really bored with the movie. I think that's what I did really well. Like, a lot of I guess movies nowadays, it didn't feel like it stalled or anything, or there wasn't anything pointless. Any scenes that happened were pointless. Well, we can get that more in the spoiler review. Yeah, it seemed like the characters, I think the characters really made it worth it. The characters and the story was great. There was a few issues, but I'll probably go into the more of the spoiler area. But
Stay tuned for the spoilers in the next video.
we go. The effects and how it was shot, that we both noticed all that. Like, I was at one point, I was like, man, I'm seeing pixels like that, but it wasn't like in a negative way. It kind of felt like it was kind of cool, like, in a way. I think there's like some sequences where it was done very well, which I was just like, this is great. And some scenes were kind of done very, I'm like, I wouldn't have chose that music, but a lot of the times the music was very weird, but also in a good way. If I'm saying that, like, there's like stuff I've never seen. There's like there was a type of scene where like had this sort of very odd music, and I was just like, that's very odd for what was happening, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. It was very interesting. That's what I liked about the film the most. It was very intense.
Taking count that Jared likes House of a Thousand Corpses, that's his favorite film of all time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Needs more Rob Zombie edits.
Yeah, I know.
I thought Rob Zombie was in it at one point.
He was a zombo.
Hey.
He was a super beast.
Yeah, and I think negative is like some of the, I guess it's kind of let's say this for, I'll probably say that for spoiler. Negative, like some choices and stuff that happened. I guess like what I said before with the effects and some of the music sometimes didn't fit very well and kind of took me out of it a little bit. But other than that, it was a good movie, and I do recommend anyone who's like not familiar with the series or someone who's a diehard fan of the series. I'll definitely suggest it for them. like that. Whether they're gonna hate it or not, I reckon they should watch it like that because it was interesting. We came out like sort of indifferent, like loving it, but not really. I mean, like not hating it. That's how I came out. Like I just didn't really hate it, but I did. I'm glad that we watched it. That's all.
You seem to be more positive about it now than you were after the movie.
Yeah.
So we kind of got the opposite. I liked it less as time went. You liked it more. Anyway, how about Midge?
Definitely liked it less. When glancing and thinking about it overnight. Yeah, the key word for me is just disappointment. As it is mentioned, it is directed again by Danny Boyle, who directed the original 28 Days Later, and written by Alex Garland, who also wrote pretty much most of Danny Boyle's stuff in his film career. He's one of my favorite absolute screenwriters. The build-up to knowing they were at the helm of the third installment, obviously got me excited in presuming it was going to bring it back to the roots of the original film. And nah, man, walking out of it, I was extremely disappointed. I feel like there's some really decent moments sprinkled now and then. The performances carry the entire film. Some really new faces that I'm not really too familiar with are definitely going to keep on going with some more star power involved. Aaron Taylor Johnson this is pretty much his third film in the year. His performance in Kraken was pretty forgettable. Not to mention he also played a minor role in Nosferatu. He was decent.
He was pretty good in Nosferatu, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was in it.
So, but
everything.
for my reception of Nosferatu, I disliked that more than I liked it. So for me, it was like, this is like strike three for Aaron. If this film doesn't like land, that could be his career over. Do I think his career's over? I don't think so, because for the most part, he did carry a lot of the proportion of the film. For me, I have similar vibes to the second one, 28 Weeks Later, which did get a lot of poor reception when it originally came out. I enjoyed it most. Same as the second one, it just did not stick the landing. It just fell flat at the ending. And,
No pun intended in this third
yeah.
film. I mean, I want to go into the spoilers so hard. We'll do after, but yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've basically covered everything. Some interesting choices in terms of, which is Danny Boyle. He basically always experiments with all his projects, especially with 28 Days Later, and now with this one. Always trying to give himself minimalistic capability. Like, he shot this on an iPhone, which, it gives the illusion of someone goes out to the field with just an iPhone. He had modifications and whatnot on it, and a whole set crew and all that stuff, but still, he gave himself limitations in terms of production output, and much the same as he did 28 Days Later. Does it resonate the same for me? Nah.
No,
it doesn't.
I respect a little bit that they try to do that, like go with the old school, like let's do it how we did it before, with like a poor setup or a low budget. But yeah, just it didn't work for this one. They could have used a better camera anyway.
Yeah, just better choices narratively or cinematographically. I just like. I didn't. There was only probably one sequence, which I'll talk about more in the spoilers, where I felt intense. I felt like, I didn't like in the first film when I first saw that for the first time. Like, I was on edge the entirety of the film. I was like fearing this outbreak. I was fearing this like dreadful, relentless, unstoppable force of this infection. Taking out characters that you like and all that stuff. And this one, I didn't get that feeling. It felt so in the background, kind of, for the most part. So, yeah, saying all that, I just didn't really have any emotional input by the end of this film. It just felt so lackluster and flat and mundane. And yeah, I just don't know what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland were really thinking with this being the third installment after nearly 20, 30 years since 2002 was the original. So like, yeah, that's about as much as I can really cover without giving too much of the story away. So
Well, I'll
I'll
add.
follow on with the spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add. I think the story was very segmented, and they didn't really. I feel like it was kind of two stories, separate stories, like two different episodes almost. I reckon they could have homogenized it a little bit more. Also, I had another point, but I forgot what it was. Anyway.
Good point.
Yeah, so the story. God damn it, man.
I'd like to add on what Mitch said about like, I think some of the characters. Like, I think I agree with you. Near the end, in the middle, it kind of we stopped sort of feeling for the characters. I guess is that what you? Sorry if I got that wrong, Mitcho. But I felt like the beginning was very strong with the characters, and the characters is what really made the movie tolerable, really. Because like I was on the edge of my feet, especially just like at the very start of the film, first half of the film.
You're standing up?
Yeah, later.
You're standing up? No, don't worry.
I was standing up in the theater, like
You
T-posing. No, I was just like,
You see, you're in
like-
the edge of your feet. But anyway, keep going.
I was on my tippy
Yeah.
toes. And later on, it was kind of just like, then more was happening, and then all of a sudden, I do agree with Mitch with this. It's like I don't, not that I don't care, but I just kind of lost that feeling of just like, oh, I really want these people to survive, sort of thing like that. And how's it going, Mitch?
All right. Well, I probably forgot all my points.
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Was there a question for me in that, Jared?
Yeah, just like how you were saying, like how you didn't care much for the characters near the end. I guess
No,
like that.
no. That's not what I meant. It wasn't so much whether I cared for the characters or not. It was just I didn't feel like they were really in any threat. Like I felt like most of the characters were in control of their environment, whereas
Yeah.
in the second film, there's no sense of that at all. Like they're always on the run from this reoccurring threat. Whereas in this one, it just felt very stable. Especially in the second half of the film, you just feel like they're in this where they should be exposed and vulnerable with like this, introducing these new this new generation of infected and all that. I just never got that sense in this.
Yeah. Oh no,
Another film. You go.
I think that was like that's probably going to be some of my points of why I disliked it as well. Like that, it was pretty disappointing because at the start it was very, very threatening. It's just like you got to be on your toes all the time. Like you can't sleep. Like just like the first couple of ones where it's just like you constantly. It's like hell, and it's really nerve wracking. And then in the middle half of it, it was kind of just like, oh, take your time. And I feel like that's kind of what I disliked about it the most.
You didn't find it very threatening. Like you didn't feel the
like it just sort of at the start it's just like like just really just like holy shit, like pulling your hair out because I was just like it was like it gave you that fear
yeah.
of like holy crap, this is bad. And then it's sort of like it was like a dial, it just like turned down a little bit, and
Yeah.
that was pretty disappointing. And Mitch, yeah, you worded it way better than I did, and that's where I was just like,
That's
oh,
good.
that's it. That was the word I was looking for.
Like the short version, it's like when you're playing a video game, you get to like a safe hub where there's no NPCs that could threaten you.
Yeah.
It's like the second half of the film, for the most part, that's what it felt like. They were just in this environment where it's like we know nothing's gonna happen badly to these characters, and I'm not supposed to feel that with this kind of film. I'm supposed to be on my edge,
yeah.
anticipating this threat around every corner, but I didn't get that with this. It fell short really quickly.
And the 28 days and weeks later, that theme, their zombie theme, that's what they did the best with the zombies, and that's why I like them so much. I mean, like I love the first one the most because I remember I watched it when I was really young. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember it being fucking intense and scary, and it was just filled with dread. And it was just like, oh, you want hope? No, you can't get it. Like that's like the whole movie, and
That's what Danny Boyle normally does best, and not just like 28 Days stuff, but most of his films. There's this sense of dread that slowly veils over his cast of characters. There's no better example of that than the movie Sunshine. If you guys haven't seen that, he sets that up perfectly. Like you have this cast of characters where within the first quarter of the film, you just know that there's this impending doom fated for all of them. He does the same thing with 28 Days Later, and even I can't remember who the director was who did 28 Weeks Later, but he did a good job of that too, for the most part. In this one, I just didn't get that. It was just lost on me.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of the intense moments, like in 28 Days Later. I don't know. I get mixed up between 28 Days Later and World War Z for some reason. But one of those movies, there was a scene in a tunnel where the car broke down. They had to fix the car while these screaming zombies are coming after them, and it was like they had only moments to fix the car or something like that, and you could hear them running down.
28 Days Later.
Yes, and that was like this movie didn't have any of that, or maybe in the beginning it had a bit of it, but it didn't have that.
There was one sequence where I had a little bit of that, but it still didn't feel the same. It's just yeah. We'll talk about that in the spoiler area.
All right. Anyway, I found it quite lukewarm. The movie, Jared loved it more than any other movie that was ever invented, and Mitch.
Hey, watch it. I love the first half of it. Majority of it, yeah, felt kind of flat in the middle. But all in all, it wasn't boring or over the top bullshit, I guess. It kind of was. It slowly got there, but it was like not like garbage, I would say. So that's
No,
why
it wasn't
I'll say
garbage. I wouldn't say it's garbage.
I was entertained.
I think you all know what Mitch's thingo is on it. Anyway, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be spoiling the movie. You're talking about all the good parts and shit parts. All right, we'll see you then. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.